Creators of Lore! Thank you for joining me for this installment of the March of the Machine storyline. In this part of the story, we're going to be following Ren and Chandra. So, we start off, Ren is injured, being carried by an injured Chandra. Ren has a high level of concern because Realmbreaker is no longer speaking to her. Now, Koth is with them. He's using his magic to shield them with a giant stone slab as they're being attacked by the Phyrexians, and they're also accompanied by the Mirren resistance fighters. They are on a path headed to Realmbreaker, but an attack from behind takes Melira in the stomach. It's Nissa. Chandra lobs a fireball, but it dissipates harmlessly before it even reaches Nissa. Koth ends up firing a massive boulder at Nissa, but she splits it with her vines like it was nothing. Koth raises a barrier to block Nissa's path, while Chandra continues on her way to get Ren to the tree. Nissa just rises higher up in the air, though, on her cable-like roots, and steps over the barrier like it's not even there, at the same time spearing multiple warriors. Chandra is refusing to look back. She couldn't bear to. But that didn't stop Nissa from reaching out with an entangling arm and lifting her right up off the ground. And when that happened, Ren fell out of Chandra's arms, but a member of the Mirren resistance caught her as she fell. Nissa speared that Mirren, but Ren had already been handed off, and this continued onwards with different Mirrens handing Ren forwards. Ren, at this point, is no longer confident. She says that she can't do it without Chandra's help. But Melira points out that Chandra won't be able to help out since Nissa's currently in the process of being choked out with vines by Nissa. The Mirrens manage to get Ren to the World Tree, and Melira uses the last of her strength to infuse Ren with a burst of power. "That's all I can do," she said as she collapsed. Ren, for her part, wanted to ask Koth to go and save Chandra and bring her here so she could help guide Ren's inner fire. The immensity of Realmbreaker is daunting, but nonetheless, there isn't enough time, and Ren intertwined herself with the tree. She is instantly assailed by the Phyrexian corruption when that happened. The wrongness of it floods her, trying to force her back out of the tree. The feeling of the oil on her roots disgusted her. Realmbreaker remained silent, so Ren filled that silence with her own song, a song of the woodlands, of the strength of Innistrad's oaks, of the magnificent floating pines of Zendikar, and the trees of a number of other plains. Realmbreaker's response was a thunderous chant. "You do not belong here." Ren had to grasp onto the tree with her fingers at that point to not be physically forced off of Realmbreaker. Phyrexia was pushing back that strongly at that moment. And remember that the fire that burns within Ren, it requires her focus and energy to control. And at this point, she's getting drained from fighting Realmbreaker, and the fire is straining to get out, like a dog on a leash. So it's starting to cause physical pain for Ren. The fire was eager to get out and fight Realmbreaker, but if Ren loosed it without control, it would be an absolute disaster. So she tried to remember what Chandra had taught her. Perhaps talking to the fire might help. So she explained to the fire that it was okay to burn as long as it didn't burn her. The fire responded by flaring inside of her, but so did awful pain. Pain that was mirrored and amplified through Realmbreaker. Ren and Realmbreaker screamed in unison. The fires couldn't tell the difference between Realmbreaker or Ren, so it set them all alight. At this point, Elspeth comes flying in and slams angelic power into Nissa so hard that it flows out of her eyes and mouth. She ends up dropping Chandra. Elspeth catches her and puts her down beside Ren. Chandra rushes over to Ren to check on her, and when Chandra comes into contact with Ren, the fire starts to flow into Chandra. And what happens as a result, this lessens the intensity of the fire enough for Ren to gain a measure of control over her flames. So ignoring the pain, Ren quested inwards to find the smallest fragment of the uncorrupted world tree. Deep in the oily Phyrexian darkness, she found a tiny withering sapling, still green, but corrupted along the edges. And as she gets closer, she can hear Realmbreaker's song, but only faintly. When she arrives at the sapling, it's surrounded by a moat of Phyrexian oil. She could feel Phyrexia's presence demanding control, but Ren defied it and created a ring of flaming trees around the sapling. The oil started to bubble in the heat and threw itself in great waves at the sapling, but the flaming trees grew ever larger and the oil burned away wherever it came in contact. And at the same time, Ren sang a song of comfort and growth to the tiny sapling. Realmbreaker drew in the power of Rens Song and explosively grew. Hundreds of years of growth in an instant. His song became powerful and bold, and the two joined together. Realmbreaker continued his incredible growth. Ren had meant to guide him, but she had no idea how world trees even functioned. Luckily, it was all instinctual. Realmbreaker knew exactly what to do. He just needed some help. Using Ren's power, he tore a multitude of holes in the fabric of reality that reached countless planes. Ren was able to see into these many worlds and witness how vast the ongoing struggle against Phyrexia is. Realmbreaker, who at this point now also goes by the name of 8 after having joined with Ren, spoke to Ren. These people need our help. Ren agrees and explains that she has a plan. She delves deeply into Realmbreaker's power, seeking a place that is hidden away. And following the barest of trails, she finds a place that Phyrexia has not. Realmbreaker tears a hole into this place. Through the hole, proud warriors can be seen, led by a mage. It's Teferi. This is exactly who Ren's looking for. But there's a problem. Ren is now melded with Realmbreaker. And Realmbreaker, unlike other trees that Ren has melded with, is incapable of uprooting and moving around. So Ren has to stay where she is. She can only yell through the portal. Teferi, being a planeswalker who's lived through innumerable events, is unsurprised by this turn of events. But the people around him aren't. They think it's some kind of evil djinn talking. Teferi hadn't wasted his time while he was trapped inside this time bubble. He had mobilized the people of his homeland, Zhalfir. And because they were trapped in this time bubble, they were completely untouched by Phyrexia. Ren comes up with the absolutely insane plan to try and force planes together and either crush or somehow displace New Phyrexia and then leave Zhalfir in its place. The first step to this plan was to open a massive portal into New Phyrexia. Teferi led his people out of Zhalfir and into the battle for the fate of the multiverse. All right, my friends, that ends this installment of the March of the Machine storyline. I hope you enjoyed it. Ren and Realmbreaker coming together. That is a fantastic concept. So, if you want to have more good times, go and enjoy some more stories on this channel. If you like what we're doing here, you can support the channel by joining the channel membership or our Patreon. Big thank you to the channel's members and patrons for supporting this channel. I'll see you all next time. And remember, my friends, lore is life.